Good morning. Well, it's good morning for you. We are actually doing the show a little bit later, but anyway, it's here for your entertainment and enjoyment for this early Saturday morning. Here you are. So, it's a little bit too late for us for having coffee, but you got your coffee and everything. So, anyway, so we got some different stuff here, and actually got some things here that I wanted to talk about because some things that I guess you could say it's almost like now that I've kind of got a little bit more of a idea on this, I figured to kind of in a sense almost come back around to where the grip thing was what started it and everything. But of course, obviously, we're going to read through your comments here. And again, if your comment was not read, that's either you didn't comment early enough, usually within the first, right when the show is released, and I did have questions about that, right when the show is released, try to get in there, try to watch the show that morning and comment, and then that way at least you'll get to it soon enough. So usually within the 24 hours period, by the first day up, we'll usually get your stuff in there. If you're a little late behind that, you might not get they might not get posted up there by the time we do this. So we're getting changing up a little bit of routines here, since this is pretty much the primary updated video content for you here on the channel. So all right, so anyway, here we go. We're going to go ahead and read them. First one up is by a Danger Man. Yeah, I love your Uncle Milton stories. I do appreciate that. I do like telling them, keeps Uncle Mo alive. My dad is now in his upper 70s. Wow, so is my father. And last year I took him to the range with my 3 model 10.5s. I had my 1968 surplus Jordan Police 4-inch, well used, re-blued to a matte finish with a nice smooth as glass trigger. Yeah, a lot of those old Model 10s, they got really nice triggers on them, and of course Smiths always do. My near mint 1974 inch and my Joe Friday 1973 snub round butt. Oh, that's a nice one. We had a great time and agreed the snub shot the best out of all of them. Back in his day, 38 was the standard law enforcement, so he really respected and admired them. He rarely shoots, but because they are so accurate and easy to use, he had some good shots. Driving home from the range, all he could talk about was Joe Friday, the Joe Friday gun. Fun times and a memory I will cherish. Yes, stuff like that is really important. Very, very important, because all of a sudden, next thing you know it, like I didn't realize all of a sudden it'd be like, hey, he's gone. Like, wow, they're these people that you once hung around with or enjoyed their company with and did things with, all of a sudden they're gone. It's like it just happens like that. So, all right, Warren. I absolutely love the Ronin full size in 9mm. Sorry, I'm going to need glasses at some point here. And love the Colt Government Classic, but would have to get the 38 Super version, as 45 still is a restricted caliber here in Australia, unless on a collector's license. That's interesting. That I didn't know. I know that in I want to say it's in Mexico that they can't have like a military. Or I guess I don't know, like certain calibers they're restricted to. I guess you guys are over there too, it sounds like. So very interesting. That was like when I met up with a fellow subscriber and a very loyal fan as well, from Ireland, I believe. The stuff he shared with me was very interesting on certain restrictions and stuff like that. Some of the stuff was kind of funny. I couldn't believe it. And as we went around and shared that story with some people, it was like, wow, people were like taken back from that. But that's interesting. Unless on a collector's license, huh? All right. I love those John Wayne films. And Single Action Army. Yes, I think the Italian copies are the best. Really, best for the money and what you're getting, and basically, get to enjoy them. I agree. The overpriced Colts, Ruger makes them different calibers, 22 to 357 Magnum. For on the topic of Glocks, they are excellent pistols. If I was in combat, if in a combat shooting or high-speed shooting, the Glock would be my pick. Yes, I would be. That would be mine too. I prefer Gen 3 or 4 and the 17. Thanks for sharing another story about your uncle. I agree with do what you want to do. In a fortnight's time, I will be in Okinawa. Wow. Take care. Have a good weekend and see you next week. Wow, that's really cool. So I'm assuming you are in Okinawa. Hi. All right. Harrison Mantooth, good Saturday evening to you. Going back a couple of weeks, I enjoy your comments on the Smith & Wesson Model 10. I happened upon a Model 10 10.6 with a 4-inch bull barrel the other day. All I could do is drool over the display case because I'm an Idaho resident. They're asking $460 plus tax. That's not bad if it's in good condition. It's in great condition with plenty of bluing left, except for the muzzle where holster wear made the bluing worn. This was another informative video. Thank you. That's cool. If I saw that, I'd probably try to offer him 4 for it, just because of the bluing wear. If it was immaculate, perfect condition, I would probably pay the $460. All right, that is if I was gonna acquire more things. But then, don't we all want everything? Sean, I've been watching your content for quite a while. I don't always comment, but keep up the good work. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you, Sean. We know you've been commenting lately on the radio show, and we appreciate that. Like I said, your comments and the things that you guys post here is the show. So it is what makes the show up. So we do appreciate that, and you guys are the reason why we're still doing content here. So thank you. All right, Squibbler. I had to drive 2 counties away from here, from where I live this morning. The show helped pass the time. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad the show did help pass the time. Wow, that's a lot. I don't like long drives myself. Can't stand them. I don't. I'm okay for a couple hours in the car, but after, no, I'm done. Like when you're talking driving, way out in the middle somewhere, or going out to do something and all that, I'm done. No, I'm not gonna do it. All right, the Crazy Scotsman single action revolvers are awesome. I am blessed to have a Wile Coyote. Seriously, that's what it's called. Does that have anything to do with the cartoon? I'm sorry. That's the first thing that came to my Wile E. Coyote. That was Mr. Holster's. I plan on getting another in 45 Colt and doing some cowboy action shooting matches. Oh wow, that's cool. I did not know Mr. I guess I'll have to go back and look and see what he had posted on that. I always kind of go back sometimes and watch some of his content. Man, what a great guy. What a great guy, man. We miss him every day. We do. All right, Jeffrey Richardson, another great video. Another great morning coffee video, sorry. Thank you for all you do for us. I do appreciate it. And you guys are welcome. Very welcome. P.S. Try a Big Mac with chicken patties instead of the beef. Just my opinion. Interesting. I'll tell you another one that was told to me one time. If you go there, try the McChicken with cheese. Ask them to put cheese on the McChicken. I guess it depends on where you're at too. Sometimes the McChickens are, what is it, the spicy McChicken? In some cases, some of them you go to, you can't get any other thing. I mean, they only give you, that's only the spicy McChicken that they give you. Interesting, weird stuff. All right, Lion Quest Fitness everyday carry. What goes where you go? These days for me it tends to be a 5-shot all steel snub pocket carried. If concerned about potential trouble, it's a K-frame loaded with 357 or a Glock 19. For me it's a Glock, just because of how extremely reliable it is, and because I do believe in its safe action design. If you really think about it, other than a revolver, the Glock is the only one that I've 100% feel extremely safe carrying one in the chamber, as you should. My opinion, you should, because if you don't, I don't know what's the point, but because you're not going to have time to chamber around in most cases. But yeah, no, for me it usually is a Glock. Now, for years when I was working at the at a range, I did carry a lightweight Commander 9mm 1911, the Springfield Ronin, as you guys know. For years I did carry that. Before that, I carried a Glock 34 because it was an open carry thing anyway, and our qualifications monthly was rigorous, and I didn't want to put stress in, so I carried the thing that was the you know, the competition kind of style pistol, just so I could pass with ease. Looks like you got a couple replies there. The model, Crazy Scotsman said, Model 60 snubby on hand always, and then when I want to have a few more rounds available, I'll go to CZP1 P01 Omega. All right, I'm not familiar with that. But then again, I'm kind of behind in the times of guns, I guess. I don't really, you know, I kind of always fell into being a 1911 kind of guy. The only thing modern I do, which, I mean, in a case, I mean, hey, look, check this out. I mean, look at that cool box and everything with the Glock. Awarded 1987, best in the market. Even that thing is getting kind of dated, I guess you could say. But, you know, I like it, you know. I'm, you know, so it's, I guess it's that, you know, 80s timeline, so. All right, I come from the 80s, I guess. Frank Renner. I hope I'm saying that right, Frank. Love watching you. Thanks for the info. Would like to see you talk shotguns. Well, Frank, guess what? We brought a shotgun out for you. That's why we brought this thing out, Frank. I knew somebody had commented about that, so I wasn't sure who, but we brought one out, the only one that we got left. We sold off all our shotguns. All right, BBTBMB. Love the show. Early morning, watching from Hawaii. Hey, today while on vacation. Sounds like you're on vacation on the beautiful islands. Enjoy it. It is gorgeous. There's no other place on earth like it. I've not gone back to visit myself because I'm afraid that if I did, I wouldn't come back. All right, Bohemian Hunting Club, another great channel, you guys. They're really a great group of guys over there. They do excellent stuff. Another great you know, channel out there that you know, unfortunately, like I said, I just don't get around enough to watching a lot of other stuff and content and spending time on YouTube checking everybody out like I used to. So I do apologize for that, but there's a lot of you out there that have really great channels. Another one is TAB videos, used to be known as Trees Are Blowing. They're another great you know, channel out there. All right, Crazy Scotsman, Slanty. I'm a Slanty. I think, what is that? Cheers or something? All right. And John Crane says, "Make America Back Jack again." Thank you. All right, and Kenny says it's 5:30 a.m. Eastern time. I am gonna start putting this show up earlier because I forgot to do it. I think this time around for you guys that are watching this last program. I forget that there is such a time. You know, I'm too far, I guess, in the middle. So I'm gonna post it up earlier. This time, so that way it'll hit earlier during the other times everybody else, because I think some of you are up rather early. So I'm gonna do that. All right, we'll close this out because we got all the comments there answered and everything, at least the ones that was available to read at this time. But okay, I'm gonna talk about these grips real quick. Is that okay? You guys remember, some of you that go back with this channel a long ways. This was way before I even started YouTube. These are the magic grips that came on the Rooster Shooter Cimarron copy of John Wayne's gun. They basically went to, like, I guess they must have gone to like a museum and looked at one of his firearms, and they copied it. And so basically the Rooster Shooter is what they call it, and it's kind of a worn looking you know, 6 gun, and they went back through and they reproduced everything. And I've seen photos of the one that was in the NRA museum, and I'm almost positive that this is where they kind of got the idea. So when I heard about this thing being released, of course these are the grips that it came with. The yellow, orange, yellow, they called it, they actually described it as orange finger grooved grips. Funny thing is, I don't know if in this video how well it's going to show up, but you see the two-tone color, you see that? You see how much this side here is a little darker than this side? You've got a yellow, and then you got a kind of a more orangey yellow. So that's the original grips when I got this gun, and I didn't have it not even a day, and I dropped them, and they broke right here, and they shattered. Piece broke off. Luckily it didn't break to the point where it was so bad that it was you know, you couldn't replace it or fix it. But yeah, whatever material they used out of this is somewhat delicate, as my first original grips that I was making were the same material, very delicate. This whatever this resin type epoxy polyurethane stuff is, it's brittle. In fact, these have kind of chipped up over the years here and there, but I try to keep them safe because they're the originals. So this is what started my journey of trying to make grips, and I don't even want to dare to think of how much hundreds, probably thousands of dollars I have spent trying to do this and figure this out. Of course, as now I've, you know, of course, as it comes with a lot of years doing it and a lot of money pouring it down, developing techniques, and mind you, when I made grips and started doing this stuff, and those of you that bought some of my grips, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I mostly did that to share them with you, rather than, I mean, it wasn't really making money. It wasn't, that was not, I mean, that was part of it, that I did make the money off of it, sure, but a big part of it was just sharing the product with you. It was almost, that was really full circle for me. It was, I couldn't believe that people actually wanted to buy them. Which was never the intention. This was always what had happened. This is where it started. So of course now I've gotten a lot more technique and knowledge on doing this, which was not something anybody really taught me. It was something I had to learn on my own, strictly by screwing up, countless screw-ups, doing things that were completely crazy, you know, making molds for grips that are, you know, obviously like this, and making molds that were like this big, you know, around and stuff like that, trying to do them and get all that kind of stuff. So it is a difficult process over the years. It's crazy. But as it would have it, what I did was I said, you know what, I want to try my hand in recreating those, exactly those. Try to do those exactly. And this is the first attempt, and of course it's not the best, but this is what turned out to be it. And there's the first reproduction that I did of those. Exact copy. With the little itty bitty finger grooves. And then the other side. Now you look, I did mine, tried to do it exactly like they did, which is making it offset. Here's the originals. We'll go ahead and show you. So we got the originals right here. I don't know which way it is. And then here's the mine. So there's the you can see the two-tone coloring and everything. And so I tried to do an exact replica of them. I still think theirs is a little bit darker, but that's it, you know. And I don't know. I don't know what else to try with it. I'm gonna try some other stuff with this just for the sake of trying to recreate those. Of course, mine that I do, one things I changed was I didn't want these to be brittle like those. If I did this with those, they'd shatter. There'd be definitely some breakage. So this material here, this polyurethane material, is a lot more durable. It can handle basically, you know, and you could drop these on the ground and it would be okay. So that's anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. It's just kind of been very interesting in the journey of doing this. And then cutting the holes and everything like that, and which requires a special tool, special bit and everything, and then you got to really get everything set up. And the escutcheons that you get here, you can buy these things from Brownells, but what I ended up doing was going to the hardware store and buying the smallest, almost the smallest screw and nut set you can get, and using that as my joining it together. As far as the nut goes, you can do you can actually buy brass ones. They do. Some of the local hardware stores will sell you a brass screw and a nut for it. You can get those, and what I do is you just take it, screw it onto the far back where the nut is, and then take a file and break the hex off, and you can actually round it. It takes some time, but you can round it and create it and make your own, and basically do your own escutcheons rather than buying them from Brownells, which, I mean, you can almost argue what the price to the job or working with you're doing. But if you're messing with a lot of them all the time, sometimes it's better just because I think they're only a few, like $1 or something total cost for a set at a hardware store or something like that. So there is that, there is that, thought process on that. So, but anyway, yeah, that's something I ended up doing. I decided, I wanted to see what full circle would be for me on going back through and trying to recreate that. Now mine, of course, Cimarron still offers this as of course they're importing the gun from Italy. These are still available, this rooster shooter pistol, but they're not made, the grips are not the same. Now my grips that came on mine, because I bought mine early when this revolver, whatever, this thing first hit the market. That's when I bought mine. My grips were made by a company called Bar S, which I don't think are around anymore. But yeah, that's who did mine, was Bar S grips. Like I said, I think they're gone now. Unfortunately, I heard rumors that the fellow might not be alive anymore, which is sad because he actually did make, those are really nice. I would love to have met up with that guy and picked his brain on how he did this, if he was willing to share the secrets. And I get it. I mean, as myself, as things I learned, and and I'm not trying to sound selfish or anything like that, but I've gotten asked a lot of questions. How come you don't make a video on how to do this or anything like that? Quite frankly, with the amount of time and efforts and things that I put into it and things that I discovered, you know, I know it sounds selfish, but I'm not willing to give those what I feel are trade secrets away. It took a long time to figure this out. So sorry, it just, you know, I know it sounds selfish and everything, but you know, hey, you know, you can go out there and figure it out too. There's ways to do it. I'm certainly not the only person doing things like this. Tombstone grips, Eagle grips, Buffalo Brothers. Hey, if you really want stuff like this, Buffalo Brothers, I mean, they are top notch. They make really good quality stuff. I've still got a couple pairs of their grips that I still use, and you know, they have good stuff. So all right, anyway, the shotgun here we have is a high standard shotgun. It's empty, of course. Why I have this, why I still have this big thing, because I'm actually thinning out a lot of stuff and don't really keep things on hand anymore. But this is a high standard. It's called a Riot. It says Riot on it, 18-7 model K120 is what mine says. It's just a standard bead front sight, not a rifled sight or anything like that, because this is basically why I like it, and it's only a 2 3/4 chamber. You can't do anything else with it. Why I have this? Well, the movie The Getaway with Steve McQueen. This is what he uses in that movie, and it took me a while to figure out what it was that he uses in that movie. And when I did find out what it was, I located this thing years ago in a pawn shop, and I rescued it, bought it, took it home, and I just, you know, I never got rid of it. I shot it a handful of times, but that's about it. It wasn't something I really wanted to shoot a whole lot, because I didn't want to damage anything. I didn't want to, per se, you know, break it, split the wood or anything like that. I wanted to really care for it, because for me it's a movie related firearm that is really cool, and it's a really short shotgun. If you actually have one of these things or seen one of these things, it's a short little shotgun. It really is. Now when you have one, it sure really makes sense, because it shows him in the movie putting this thing on, like he just wraps his like sports coat around it and just kind of tucks it away. And when you see this thing, you realize, wow, no wonder he did that. It's actually fairly easy to do. But yeah, that's why I have it. That's what remains in the collection because of that. Simply because of The Getaway. You know, again, I don't shoot it a whole lot because of the fact I don't want to wear it out or anything. This actually belonged to probably a police department, because it actually has a little bit of wear on the receiver where it was locked in the probably the vehicle or a patrol vehicle or whatnot. So, but yeah, speaking of shotguns, there it is. At one time, when I was first really getting into a lot of shooting and going to the range and stuff like that a lot, that was all I wanted, was a shotgun. I shot those things all the time, and I kind of oddly grew out of it. Maybe because I did it so much when I was younger, that I just constantly, I mean, I would go to the range and just pound shells, just cases of shells, and never get bored of it. Maybe it's because of that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not that interested in them. They just don't interest me that much. And if they do, it's something like this configuration that I do like. There's very few shotguns out there that intrigue me, and it's usually something like this. Some sort of old school police shotgun, you know, law enforcement type deal, or those old school trench guns. I would love to have one of those old trench, you know, like a 97 or an Ithaca 37 or something like that, one of those trench kind of style guns. But yeah, this is it. You know, this is all we got right now. We may showcase something else if we get something on loan as far as the shotgun goes. But yeah, no, this would be about it, unless an old side-by-side were to kind of show up one day. That would be kind of inexpensive. I'm gonna set that over there so we don't mess up the table here or bump something. But yeah, an old side-by-side would be really neat. You know, I would love to have something like that. And I think I would just rather have one that just, although, you know, you always see the old hammers on them and everything, I think I'd rather just have a standard one that, you know, or one of the updated ones, I guess, from that. Although I've seen like the Rossi Overland from time to time. So, but there's very little shotguns, I guess, that kind of grab my attention these days. I know Ithaca has been remaking. I don't know if there's, you know, how much of the same company they are, but Ithaca has been remaking the 37 with the wood and everything. So they do have one where the magazine tube is going all the way up to the end, like, you know, to the barrel length and everything. So, and it's got the original wood and everything on it. So there is that out there floating around. So that's pretty cool. But the other cool old school gun I brought out, which is something you guys have not seen, I picked this up for some time ago, but you guys have not seen this. This is a Colt Combat Commander. It's a nickel plated, so I figured I'd show it to you here. That's pretty cool. It's a Series 70. You got all the cool roll marks on it, which are deep. And you can see over here where it says Colt Combat Commander, and you can feel those roll marks, man. They are deep. They're nice. I never had a nickel-plated 1911 really ever. I've seen them, but never had one. But this was the first. On the island, this would be something that would just be like, I don't want it at all. Because of the corrosion and the salt air on the island, it really is harsh on things. And once nickeling starts to do its thing, it starts to blister up, and I tell you, there's no real turning back to it. This one definitely has got a few scars on it. It's, you know, it's been around. I'm gonna tell you, we shot this. My buddy and I shot it. He likes it more than I do as far as shooting it. Actually, it needs to be cleaned, which that's why I kind of brought it out here too, to kind of show you guys a little bit on the how nasty and filthy it is on the inside, because we haven't cleaned it. But I tell you, this one really it barks on you pretty hard. I will say that. It's another reason why I'm not really a fan of this size in this caliber, which is 45 auto. I'm not a fan of this size in this caliber. I used to have another Colt that I ended up selling to a friend of mine, and I think he still has it. I'm not sure if he does or not, but look at that. I know, it's like the neglect that this thing has gone through. It's like, oh man, I shouldn't. I shouldn't actually. I feel bad. I shouldn't be the one owning this thing. It should belong to somebody that's gonna, you know, care for it better. But anyway, no, you know, it's kind of something that was neat, because I didn't ever see one really, and I didn't have one, so it kind of tossed it in the collection. They're kind of, from what I understand, they're kind of rare. You don't see a whole lot of them out there as much. I guess it depends where you're at, but yeah, you don't see a whole lot of these. You know, and it appears to be a 70s prefix serial number, so I've yet to look it up to see when it was actually made, but I'm gonna guess probably before 1975 at some point, or maybe it's 75. I don't know. But yeah, there it is. You know, that has not been seen. You know, you guys didn't see that or anything like that. So, but yeah, here it is now. Brought it out. And of course, before we get out of here and let you go back to your weekend, being it's Halloween and everything, I wanted to bring out one of my favorite horror movies of all time, Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead. And this is the Ultimate Edition. I remember when I saw this, I bought it at Kmart. I saw it and I said, oh my goodness, I gotta have that thing. Look at this. It's like a book, because inside it's got all kinds of editions of this film. This film has gone through so much edits and everything. So it's got the U.S. theatrical version, the extended version, the European version, and documentaries on the whole film series or the film in itself. It's got these books right here. I guess this is, if I remember right, what is this, like a comic? Yeah, this is a comic book. It's got some pretty cool images and everything like that. So that's in there. Of course, George Romero had passed away, which is a bummer. And then this thing here, which is like a map of the mall, and it kind of takes you through and tells you all the differences on all the different variations of this film, versions of this film. But it's really cool. I remember when I first saw this, it was on TV, and I remember just thinking, wow, that's one crazy movie. And it really is. And it's comical. I'm trying to see if I remember right. Yeah, I kept them in really good condition. Tried to, because some of these editions and stuff are really rare. Really rare to get some of these. They did release this on Blu-ray at one point. Anchor Bay did. This is an Anchor Bay releasing as well. But it's expensive. They went out of print. So I'm kind of waiting to see if they kind of re-up this thing and then release it again at some point. But until then, I usually hang on to my older copies. And I always do hang on to my older copies. Because sadly, you don't know what they're going to do. If they re-release something and put something back out there, you never know what they're going to do. Are they going to do it? Are they going to take things out of it? Are they going to control it and say, hey, you know what, maybe we don't want that in there or something like that? You just don't know. So that's kind of, bothersome to me, when they do things like this. But so that's why I always hang on to my old copies of this. And of course, if I ever saw a VHS copy of it, I'd love to scoop that up. But I'm a horror, kind of collector in a bit. But I do like this movie. This is the ultimate one. In case you're wondering which ones it is, of course, the original was a 60s movie that came out, Night of the Living Dead. That was in black and white. And then they went to Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and then Land of the Dead. And I think he did some other ones, I don't know, but those are the ones that I kind of always remember. Of course, they redid Night of the Living Dead in the 90s, which actually ended up being a really good one, because it's a special effects artist that did the effects for this, he directed the remake in the 90s, so good stuff. But this is the one they go to the mall and they hold up, and it's just awesome. It's got Ken Foree in it. He just kicks butt, and of course the blood and the gore and everything is just comedy, pure comedy. Because it looks like, and I don't know what it was. I think they explained it a little bit. They said that it's like they were the blood they were using. I mean, it really does just look like paint. Like they went through and they just got a bunch of like kids. Preschool paint and just mixed it up and just started throwing it everywhere. It really does look like that. But they said it's just the way it photographed for some reason. But I'm glad they didn't like color correct it or anything. They just left it. It's good old cheesy the way it was. And now, mind you, keep in mind this movie came out in 1978. So it's like, give it a break for what it is. I mean, they're running around pieing zombies and stuff like that, although they don't use the term zombies in it, but you know what I mean. So anyway, that's your horror flick for this October as we're getting kicking going. Love it. And don't forget, The Exorcist Believer is out. They did remake that. Hopefully Blumhouse doesn't end up ruining it like they ended up ruining the Halloween series. They started off with a good start, but I think with Halloween, what is it, Ends or something like that, they completely ruined that movie. I'm sorry. That was such a letdown. I don't even own it because that's how bad it is. Anyway.